Calling in the universe. Let's go.
Black coffee.
And black coffee.
Like my soul.
Like it should be.
Black as death.
We'll get the death card up again.
Hi, happy 2024. This is my friend Lauren. Lauren is a shaman. I absolutely adore her. We work together. We work separately, and we're calling in the universe together because we think it's time. We love the way we do rituals, the way we interact, and the way we feel every day. We do. And we can share some of that, and that's what we're here for. Plus, we know there are so many of you out there who are on a beautiful, wonderful healing journey of self-empowerment. And some of the things that have brought us success in that, we want to share with you because it's kind of magical once we all get on that journey together. And we're just meeting more and more wonderful people who are there. So we're going to share out. So I hope that you enjoy what we do. Again, this is Lauren. My name is Judy. And together we're going to be bringing in the universe. Is it bringing in or calling in?
Calling in. We'll bring it in too, but we're also going to call in the universe too. But we hope we bring it as well.
Bring it! It be brought.
We're bringing it now.
Alright, so through our monthly, we're going to go through some amazing things. We do a little bit of divination for shadow work. It's not always going to be shadow work, but as we're going into the new year, it starts that way. Everything starts and begins and ends with us. And then you're going to hear some important dates in each month that we utilize for our rituals, and we're going to tell you a little bit about the rituals we use and why we do them. Throughout the thing, you'll figure out how we work and who we work and what we do, and until then, we're just going to have a little fun. So hopefully you'll enjoy it.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah. You want to start with some good dates?
Yes. So, aside from the obvious date of New Year's Day, which is usually a very good day or the beginning of the month for anybody just to blow cinnamon into the door, to clear, the house, clear your space, really just to start off the new year on a nice cleansed foot. It's always a good idea to even check on your protections, any spiritual protections you might have on your property that you feel might need a little bit of extra love or attention.
Shush them up.
This is a good time of year to do that. The other important date would be our new moon, which actually happens to be on a portal day on 1/11. So new moons, usually we do a lot of releasing. This is actually because it's on the cold moon or the long snow moon of January. It's a good time for shadow work, like we were mentioning earlier.
And if you're a manifester, if you believe in manifesting, you get into that quiet space of the darkness and the new moon, and then you mark your time from the time you plant that seed in the darkness to when it's illuminated into the full moon, and you'll definitely start to see with that time frame how things are moving forward for you in your manifestations.
And then, of course, we have the full moon at the end of the month on January 25th. And that's usually a good time for just sort of taking stock of what you did release during the new moon. Do you feel like you need to manifest anything going into the next month? We have embark starting in February, so it's also a good time to, again, plant seeds, both actually planting seeds, but also planting more spiritual, emotional, mental seeds, maybe physical ones, if you feel called to at that time as well, or at least start planning for that.
Yeah, depending on where you live.
Yes.
Also, it's a great cleanser time for your crystals, rocks, anything you use. You pop it out into the moon, give it a little of that energy, get it charged up. That's a great opportunity to do it. The sun's a great cleanser as well. And you don't need any special day. The sun is always there for you, waiting to cleanse off all your stuff. Things like that is how we kind of function as we go through our month.
Yeah, I know for me personally, since I have a shamanic mesa at my home, I actually put it away for Christmas, because where it usually sits is where, of course, our Christmas tree can fit. So I usually use that actually as a good reason to then spend January to really evaluate what kind of medicines I want to put on my altar or mesa for the upcoming year.
Yeah.
And see if there's any changes I want to do, if anyone needs to be charged or cleansed or blessed, or if I need to remove some items that maybe are no longer needed or not as resonant for me and my household at that time. So I usually will probably use this January 25th that's coming up to really just sort of put everything back together and sort of set my home up for the next year.
January, if you go by how everyone seems to function with resolutions and whatnot, and do they stick, do they not? Maybe probably more they say don't than do. Talk about intentions. Talk about how you want to see your 2024 go, and then just work from there. Set your intentions. Get yourself ready. Get yourself empowered. Get yourself excited. And the only way to do that is to kind of go through, make sure you've shed everything from the prior year, and that you have a very clear vision of what you want. And if you don't, that's okay. You're on the learning curve. Now you want to start learning about this interests me. This worked for me once, or it's working for so and so. Let me give that a shot. Set it up. Set yourself little small goals. This is your January should be your time to kind of evaluate how you want the rest of the year to be. And you do have that option, so this is the time to take it. This is the time to work that.
Definitely.
What else do we want to talk about this January?
Do we want to mention the crafting or anything with these two guys? I think we sort of did that in the reading, so I'm not as worried about these two as much at the moment.
We did. So, as we said, January, the big day is New Year's. So we're going to begin as we intend to go on, and we're just going to work through with the things we like to do and how we like to do them.
And like I mentioned before, it's also a good time to craft. So if you had gathered anything during the fall time, or received anything Christmas-wise to really help with that, I usually use this time of year, just winter in general, as a good time to put things together, put medicines together, really even connect maybe with different medicines I hadn't planned to, if they're around or if they're an evergreen of something of that nature. I usually take the time to really take stock of what my connections are and then how I can best utilize that, not just obviously in my journeying and in my shamanic practice, but even just in the things that I make that can sort of put a little bit of magic and a little bit of good medicine out into the world where I can.
Yeah. So if that's your thing, all of your good intentions should go into it. I feel like for me, it's a time to go more deeply into my meditations, into reading. I'm a Virgo. I love to go into hermit mode, and a hibernation month is always my favorite thing. So I try to get there as often as possible. And I think that that's what we're supposed to do. It's not the summer, it's not that long day, it's the darkness, and we kind of embrace it by allowing ourselves to see ourselves clearly in the dark and for our darkness. And that's the shadow work we like to get a little done in January as well. Shadow work is kind of it's become like a catchphrase.
Yes.
It's kind of become popular. It used to be a little different a few years ago, but now everybody's talking about it.
Yep.
So, it is self-reflection. Bottom line, it's self-acceptance. It's owning and understanding who you are as a person and what makes you tick, and finding a way, whether by hook or by crook, to embrace it. That's it. It doesn't mean you perpetuate the things that you did that aren't so great. It just means that you don't beat yourself up every day for it.
Right.
So that's basically another January, February into March kind of thing that you want to be doing. It will create more peace as you go through into the new year. It sounds a little rougher than you might like, but how else are you going to grow? And this is really about self-empowerment and spiritual growth.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely want to go there. And I would also add, with your bead work, with meditation, with reading, make it valuable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, find the things that you really truly value, and don't take up your time. Utilize your time, this precious resource, to keep going in the direction that you've set out for yourself. You know, that's the key. The bottom line is it's us.
Yeah.
And we're in charge of us. And what do we love? What do we need to know more about? What do we need to connect with more fully? You know, when you figure out what that is, you can direct yourself there. And that's what these early months should be about. That kind of self-direction towards the goals of 2024. You know?
Yeah, start the year off on the right foot. You know, make sure that you're putting in not just your best intentions and your resolutions, but your best medicine forward too, just so that sets the year up for success rather than maybe going through those same cycles again and getting frustrated and then going, oh, I got to add that to my resolutions for next year.
You'll find that there's less and less resolutions and you're more and more resolute. And that's the beauty of doing the work and the path of self-discovery, is that you change up your perception of things, and then your grander perspective changes, and it's kind of impressive. And you're like, who is this person? So, hope you stick with us.
And feel free to leave any comments or questions down in the description box or the comments below. We will be checking them, so feel free if you have any worries or concerns, or hey, I didn't understand that reading, or what was happening with the earth signs in January again. You know, feel free to just leave a message and we'll respond back as soon as we can.
Absolutely. Let it begin. Let the life lessons begin, because if you're in this situation and if you're on this journey, it means you've decidedly accepted that there's more going on than meets the eye, and that you want something more than going to work and having a family and going to the supermarket and going to the mall. And not that there's anything wrong with any of that, because that is a wonderful,
people are going to do that.
amazing life.
Right.
But this is a different type of choice.
It's a different vibe.
It's a different vibe, and it's a different. It's not a lifestyle choice. It's a calling that you're either for and about, or you're not. And I don't think that there's an in-between.
No, I don't either.
I think that you just, once you start on the journey, then the journey means a lot. There's a lot of celebration in the beginning, because the holidays, and it's everyone's holidays, from, Eid and Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. It's all our holidays. So
And
it's,
of course Yule.
and Yule, it's festive.
Yes.
This is the time to be festive. And then New Year's comes. And we celebrate, and we sweep clean our homes. We try to, I personally like to use salt and cinnamon. I use, I almost don't want to say that I use the Van oil, because now we're totally mixing modalities, but I do that.
But I think that's good, because just like we got with the card medicine, man, you have to work with your medicine.
You do, and the more you expose yourself to different types of practices, the more the practices seem similar and feel comfortable.
Yeah.
They
It's not as
resonate
big
with
of
you.
a-
Right, there's no gap.
There's no gap.
There's no gap. It resonates with you, and you feel it, and then you create that new space. So I like Van oil. I get it made by people who are very good at making oils, and I think that you should find those people and utilize and work with them. And I like to clean around the windows and around the doors, and definitely all the altars. Any altar space in my house.
Yeah, that's when I usually switch up my mesa for the year. I usually I usually have to put it away for the Christmas tree anyway.
Right.
So what I normally do is, once the Christmas tree gets put back away and we're done with the holidays, I do the same thing. I make sure I dust everything. I really sit with each individual medicine that I really want to have on the altar, or even ones that used to be on the altar, to see if they still resonate for us for this coming year, or even for the next few months. You know, obviously the mesa will change as year goes through,
Yep.
but at least just where to start off. Like, where are we at that current moment? What kind of energy do we want to bring in for the new year or for these next few months before we get into springtime? Because I feel like it's all about sort of leaning more into Imbolc, because of course mine's usually more near the end of January. What seeds am I planting for the
Right.
upcoming year?
I love to take January for myself. It's an emotionally deep time. I like the darkness. I can embrace both.
Yep.
I know the light's coming.
Yeah.
So, you know, of course, too many days I get like a little twitchy for the sun because I'm a beach person.
Need the sun lamp.
Yeah. However, I do get to really relish all of my time in the dark, and I think about, it's my time to think about me, who I am as a woman, who I am as a mother, who I am as a daughter, as a person, where I want to affect change in my life, where I want to increase joy in my life. We're always on a journey, especially Lauren and I. Like, we love to learn a new thing and create a task for ourselves that's a little difficult. And those are the moments. January into February is when I kind of utilize that dark time, those short days, that to be selfish, that beautiful self-love time where you can say no. You can say no. And I have birthdays during that month that matter a lot. So I make those birthdays a thing. I make them special because those are the people we love so much.
Of course, yeah.
But the rest of the time really gets to be yours. It's really a decision you have to make. That the road of spiritual exploration really is the road back to yourself.
Yeah.
And it's self-empowering, and it's self-care, and it's how do you value yourself? What do you value? Is it your full, do you accept yourself fully in your natural state?
And also, what medicines are you going to be working with? You know,
right, but if
help
you
bring that out.
exactly, but if you don't go deep,
yeah, you're not
you
gonna
can't
know.
sit with it. You're not going to know. Nothing's going to come to you because it's in the silence that you have that spirit. It's in silence where the angels speak. It's in silence where God speaks. It's in silence where the messages from your ancestors come through, and that's a big deal. It's certainly a big deal for me. I know that I really require hearing from my people, especially the most wonderful, loving people who've raised me and who are in my bloodline and in my DNA and in my being.
And also, just to add as another aside, but also another practice that I encourage, or usually do around the winter months anyway, is crafting. I get very much more into crafty time this time of year. I'm usually doing more chainmail and beadwork. Anything I harvested, like if I grew anything or I was gifted anything during the holidays and obviously the harvest season in the fall, I'm making sprays that time of year. I'm making teas. I'm putting stuff together. I'm making talismans. I'm playing with all the things, but also just to not only help work on my own medicine, because it gives me, again, that meditative silent space.
Right, it's beautiful.
In order to do that, but it also allows me to then also put more of that medicine and share it out for anyone that I feel might need that during this time of year.
Right.
Because again, sometimes this is a harder time of year for people, especially because the sun is not as present around this time of year, and again, the holidays also has their own dramas and circumstances with family and wounds that might have been reopened during that time.
And the bills start coming in.
Yeah.
The bills start coming in, and that's a real world, real thing.
A real issue.
People need to know it's okay to have real world issues. That's part of what this is for. This is about not escaping yourself, not escaping the world, not escaping your situation, but empowering yourself to accept your situation fully and find where because you're fully responsible for your situation. No matter what your circumstances are, there's always a place where your responsibility to it can get triggered, and you wake up and say, okay, I can fix that, or I can change that.
Yeah.
There's that moment, and once you do that, once that comes to you, that click, that epiphany, that this is mine to fix, and oh, I can do that. I'm fully capable. That's the spiritual journey, because you are truly not alone once you allow that energetic source from the universe to come to you, and you allow your spirit team, and you allow your guides in. You know, I'm very comfortable with God, and I'm very comfortable with how I was raised, and most religions, I can separate them from the people who practice them, or don't practice them, or bastardize them, or whatever, because I understand the faith is different than the way people practice it.
Right.
So I'm going to use that, and I hope it doesn't upset anyone or hurt feelings, but that is how it works for me. But love energy, and light energy is accessible, and I think that once you accept your fate as yours, you want to utilize all of those energies.
Right.
That's medicine. And then boom, 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 things start to come into shape, I would say. You just have to give it a little time, right? So before we go any further, we call this calling in the universe because
we like to call in everything. All things under the sky, on the earth, obviously even beyond the earth. All those energies to really help us, guide us, to be present, and obviously for us to honor them and respect them as well, because all of those really come into play as we go into our everyday lives, as we communicate with spirit, but also as we pay those bills too. So I feel like it's just a nice balanced way to really bring all of those medicines and energies in.
Right. And Lauren's been a practicing shaman for, I would say, what?
20 years.
20 years. And it's an incredible journey. Basically, she is my mentor. I had shamanic practice and studies for about 4.5 to 5 years before I met Lauren, and once we met and we jumped in together, it was pretty much the way I could practice that was the healthiest, both for myself and for the people that I work with. So it includes all sorts of modalities for both of us, and it's encompassing. But I think the bottom line with spiritual healing and spiritual journey and energetic healing is the idea that you are empowered for your own healing, that we're holding space, that the things that are not correct within you can be corrected through you making really smart, really strong choices. Even if it's something that doesn't get fully corrected, it is a way to start being able to tolerate it. It's a way to start being able to put some, and I use the word control very cautiously here, because we don't try to control anything, but it gives you a modicum of control, because you know you're affecting change for the better, for yourself, and bottom line, it's for yourself. We can do divination for you, and we can read energy for you, and you can go to energy practitioners, you know, all over the world. But until you decide that you're going to grasp onto it and create a space where you're the driving force for your own healing, it is not going to take full effect. So I think that responsibility to self is the key of what we try to do. And hopefully, you know, we will empower you to do that, because that's what we decided to come on here and talk about every month. We're going to give
or at least not make you feel alone. Like,
yeah.
This is something that we're all dealing with, that we're all figuring out, that we're all finding our different tools and methods and practices to allow us to achieve that.
Right. And we're not for letting anybody down, judging anybody.
No.
So we're good with that. Let us have it. We're in. We'll help you. You know, tell us, and we'll give you what we can. We're going to be pretty honest. We're generally honest. We're cautious. We're going to tell you in general, because these are general readings and these are general ideas and these are general practices. You have to determine that you are going to create your own rituals, your own space. I mean, if you choose to take on anything that we do, great, you know, but it's your energy. It's not ours.
Right.
You know, we'll share because we love that, but this
and
is,
we love you.
but this is really for you and about you. And it's nice. It's a nice place to be, to say, I get to take care of me today. I go to church because that's an hour where nobody's asking anything from me because it's my hour with God. Well, that's great. And I love that. And I encourage everybody to do that if that's where you get your peace.
Yes.
I need way more than an hour. So my day starts early, and it starts with me, between me and God, me and my prayer time, me and my meditation. I ground myself in reality. I ground myself in the knowing that I've accumulated from my experience. And I ground myself with this beautiful earth and resources that we've been given. And I think that's, as we talk about shamanic practices, we have to talk about the principle of we really do have every resource we need.
Yeah.
We believe that. It's
the medicine's within us.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of finding out what it is and how to best use it.
and outside of us.
Yeah.
Trees, plants, other people,
Crystal stones,
water,
statues, effigies.
Yeah, you know, it's there. We've been given
Burning
everything
things.
we need.
If we need to burn something, I mean,
Not
you
your
gotta
ex's
do it. Yes.
clothes.
No.
You know, things like that, we have it. Also, self-sovereignty. You don't go in for a healing for someone else. If you're here because you want to know if someone is going to change so you can be happy, that is not the news we have for you. We can help you change maybe your perception or give you a perspective that's bigger than the one you had. But everything you do and you want to affect change on has to be you, internally and externally. And no one outside of you is going to bring you the happiness, the joy, the peace, the safety that you need, that you think can come from outside of you. It can't. It's got to come from you. And I think those are the two principles that I thought were most important to talk about initially. Because if that's not where you've decided to be, then this is not going to be helpful to you.
We're not going to be much help then.
Yeah.
We're going to be, if anything, a bypass, which we do not want to be.
No
right?
spiritual bypassing.
No.
There's a lot of places to find that on YouTube.
There's other places you can go if you want to be bypassed, but we're much more about truth and...
They'll read you your
being
daily,
that
they'll
sovereignty.
read you your weekly, and that's all beautiful stuff, but it's still bottom line on you, how you affect change on what you now decide you know and don't know. And knowing is important. So you got to get yourself a firm, bottom line belief, and then from there, any of the things that we're speaking about can actually really help you. When we talk about our cleansing rituals, they're rituals. Yours might be just in the morning you get up and you wash your hands a certain way, you wash your face a certain way. And if you've noticed that those are patterns that you're in, and we're going to change up those patterns, that might change up your day. So there's a lot to talk about as we go through, and it might seem a little all over the place today, but we just want to set up who we are and how we practice. You know, and if it resonates with you, then I hope you come back, because we're going to do 12 this year. We're going to do it every month, And this is our banner year, and we're going to try to just kind of, like Lauren expressed, let you know you're not alone.
Yes.
You're not, and there's resources that you might not have been aware of. And that's a big deal. So we hope that that's what works.
And hope you enjoy calling in the universe as well.
Yes! Get ready. So we have Taurus. Oh, we're going to go Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo.
Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo.
Ooh, I love that. I wonder if we're going to pull any twice.
Right.
As we're doing
I did that when I did the reading at the store.
That's a double down.
Yeah.
If I've ever heard. All right, let's see what we have.
Yeah.
So our oracle deck, the Rabbit, Capricorn. Recognize your significance. An Archangel Gabriel, which is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to show the card. Can we see? Is it nice and clear there? It's beautiful.
It might be, but what we'll do is when we're done, I'll take a photo. And then we could do like a...
Perfect. So it's funny because when we were channeling before, because we channeled off of camera to give ourselves more of an in-depth connection to each elemental sign, and that's why we're going via elements. I got for Capricorn that you're on the edge of a tree line looking for a path in, and the rabbit is really funny. There's a rainbow across its chest. It's emanating light. You have a unicorn connecting to a light on its, like what would be the rabbit's.
I'm very far away.
Yeah. Christ conscious chakra.
Yes.
So this is a
crown
kind
opening.
of, yeah, and the earth below. It's actually, I think the pause, even though rabbits recognize your significance, pause and look. Now, what I channeled was look back 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years. This is the message. It wants you to look at where you've been, to see how far you've come, and assess yourself. Recognize that. I think is a beautiful month for you, actually. So the Trash Panda gave us Ace of Swords and the Death card. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful Death card, too.
Yeah. So changes.
Changes, for sure. The Death card, I read reversals. The Death card came up upside down. However, I still think changes do. I just think it might be a different change than they expect.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling.
Because what's coming in, look at that. And it's communication, it's swift. I think it's going to be a change of perception.
Yeah.
I don't think the change isn't coming. I think you're going to finally be able to see yourselves as the beautiful spirits and the significance that you are for yourself and for the people around you, and how much we love you and they love you. All right, I would say that.
Definitely.
That's how I would read that clearly. And it kind of works with both of our channeling, because when you were channeling for the
Earth.
sign and for Earth.
Yeah, it was all about planning. You know, both the over planning as well as the under planning. It was literally showing both sides of that spectrum, where if you're someone who's prone to over plan, it might be letting the universe take the wheel a little bit. If you're someone who doesn't plan enough, it might be a good time to sort of set those intentions out so you get the change that you want.
Yep, I love it. So I think Capricorns are starting off January in a very good place. So I'm kind of really happy with that.
Me too.
Let's see what we have here. The hedgehog. So we've decided that the hedgehog was going to be Taurus, because Taurus is next in the wheel as we're spinning through the year. It says, be a magnet for light, love, and joy. So for my lovely Tauruses that I was channeling, what I got was some stomach issues and physical self-care. It also says, I also got, see your finances clearly with less worry. Maybe that's it. Maybe you guys need to be a magnet for a little less worry, a little less. Sometimes Tauruses we could get in that mode of self-indulgence and hermiting and couch potato-iness.
Yes.
And I think we're going to get out of that. I think we could, I would see this message as January trying to break free of that a little bit. Allowing that light in. Don't isolate yourself. I think the isolation is what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And the Death card. And the Six of Cups.
Ooh.
So the Six of Cups came in upside down. A reversal in the Six of Cups is interesting. First of all, again, change is inevitable. Earth signs are going through some changes here. But the Six of Cups coming straight up, I think, is a little bit more of a celebration.
Yeah.
And when it comes in reverse, I think it's saying you're not allowing in the celebration. If I'm honest, I feel like maybe being a recluse, maybe isolation is the key there. Maybe some of my Tauruses have been out there and being really isolated. And I think that we want to change that. I think you can, open up. And I'm not just talking about physically going out, although I am kind of talking about physically going out, getting out of your comfort zone. There might be something emotionally that you want to open up about. There might be an isolation of things you haven't been even really talking to your closest people with. Whatever you're isolating yourself in, whatever you think is your task alone, or you haven't really been allowing the light in or the help in or the energies in that you require, maybe that's what Taurus is requiring. I think that's what's going to happen here.
As well as some tenderness to yourself. That's the one thing that I'm getting from the Six of Cups upside down as well. Is just make sure that in your isolation, in those moments, don't feel like you have to be very harsh on yourself or others either. Like, make sure that there is some tenderness and some self-love there too.
Yeah. I mean, that's the really, it's the only real tolerance for honesty is said with love.
Right.
And Virgos, my Virgos. We got the donkey. I'm not surprised. Remember, Jesus rode in on a donkey. I mean, he was in Mary at the time, which now sounds creepy that I've said it out loud. Keep your heart open no matter what. Virgos. This is us. We can shut you out faster than lightning. So, keeping your heart open, looking at that little donkey. We can do this. We can do this. We got the Ten of Cups. Oh my goodness gracious. And the Queen of Swords upside down. Okay, that's actually pretty awesome.
Yes.
Because we're going to reserve judgment. Are those judgy people?
I wouldn't know.
We're going to reserve judgment. We're not going to be swift to make those harsh judgments. And we're going to receive our Ten of Cups, our joy, our happiness, because we've kept our heart open. Man, this is a beautiful deck.
Yes.
It's really lovely, and it's funny because it gives you an archangel with each one. And Gabriel came out for the first two and the third as well, but Archangel, and it says the Blessed Mother. It adds Mary, which I think is phenomenal because we did mention how she did ride in on the little donkey. So maybe that's
represented.
Yeah, she's up in there. I love this for our Earth signs. I think January is going to be okay. I want the Tauruses to change their thinking and give themselves a little love and get themselves out off the couch, and not feel so isolated. And it even might be thinking, like you might be creating that. I think our Capricorns have a little bit of reflection, reflect,
through,
recognize your value because you're super beautiful. I love the rainbow. It actually suits a couple of our Capricorns directly, so it's feeling very, very real for us.
Right.
And then, of course, as a Virgy Virg, I love that little donkey. I'm down.
Down with the donkey.
I will leave the beast of burden. I'll walk for miles. My feet are hurt. So I'm excited. Thank you. air signs.
Yes.
So we are going to start with Aquarius because that's the first up in the batch. And we have pulled Secrets. Secrets. This is a really interesting card because it speaks to me on many levels. But first and foremost, she's a young girl. She's got braids in her hair, and it's secrets, and there's keys in her pocket, and there's the moon. So I'm thinking we're going back. So Aquarius, what I got for you when we channeled earlier was be careful with taking things too personally and open up to new experiences. Yeah, open up is a good thing when I see that key and that lock and that moon. I would definitely go back to some long-held secret that if I'm saying take it personally, if that's the message that came to me, I would say this might be a long-held secret that you probably have a little wrong. I would say that there is something that I want you to reassess and look at it with the eyes of who you are now, not the little girl or the little boy.
Right.
Could be speaking to anybody. And give it another look, because I think maybe you're holding a secret or a resentment or something that affected you negatively that probably was more the way you took it rather than what it actually was.
Yeah.
And I think releasing that is going to be very helpful to you, and that change of perspective is definitely very helpful to you. Woof!
12 cups upside down.
And then the Eight of Swords. This is beautiful. This is exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about people you love, mutual friends, family, communications. This is, but close to you. And then the Eight of Swords. You're not looking at it correctly. You're, there's danger. You can escape it. You don't have to be sitting in it.
Right.
But you are, for whatever reason. So yeah. Caution, you refuse to look at something correctly. And it's not refusal in the sense that it was probably done at an age where you just didn't understand, because it was probably a more mature situation than you were able to process at the time. But I think that once you address it, it's going to come up a lot less negative now when you could really look at it with fresh eyes than you've been holding on to it with.
Yes.
And you'll be able to get rid of it. I think that's rather significant.
Well, I also know just when we were doing the channeling, my guys are very big on overarching themes, especially since January is sort of like our shadow work month for at least our practice. So they were very big on power retrieval from air signs this month, as well as indecisiveness, trying to figure out and mastering their indecisiveness, not letting that be what takes control. And I see that with Aquarius a little bit.
Yeah.
With, you gotta be truthful to yourself. You're gonna have to make some decisions more than likely. Don't fall back into the indecisiveness, because that's gonna keep you in this pattern.
Right. Yeah. You're taking something to heart that probably shouldn't be.
Right.
So I think we're going to, I love that,
Shift it.
Yeah. Let it go. Let it go. All right. Ooh. So our next up is Gemini. Gemini got Listen. This is a phenomenal card. So all the yellow on the card immediately. It's beautiful, absolutely stunning. They're underground. The flowers are growing, and the yellow kind of brings me right back to power, which she spoke about power retrieval. So we're automatically talking about our sense of self, our solar plexus chakra. And we got Page of Cups and Eight of Cups.
Oh.
Ooh, girl. So this is an emotional release, Gemini, of seeing something and hearing something. You're gonna hear something. Someone's gonna say something maybe that they've said 1,000 times to you. And it's gonna click in a different way. And it'll be the first time you hear it. Because you've listened. It's gonna change your relationship with that person, and you're going to be able to escape it. Because it's not that that person means harm, or it's not that that person means to be selfish.
Right.
That's the feeling I'm getting.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean that their behavior is going to change, and I think the horizon has something for you that is a little bit more peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay to turn your back when you've really heard something.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna really hear it now. So listen,
Mm-hmm.
January is gonna be an eye opener for you.
Keep the ears open.
Yeah, and when I was channeling, what I got was choices, and it says that you've been wrestling with a choice, and it's going to self-realize. And I think that that kind of really suits what's happening here, because, again, the words literally during the channel was, no response is a response.
Yep.
Listen, hear something, hear it clear, and then be confident enough to turn your back and walk away from something. You're going to release something, more of someone, more of it, and it doesn't equal losing them out of your life, but you will no longer be attached to their opinion or their judgment. That's for sure.
Yep. The one thing I will add that again, my channeling was more overarching. So for even Aquarius, if this applies, and even Libra, as we're about to get into them, if this applies, definitely take it and run with it. The two tools or the two practices that my guides really recommended to really help with the power retrieval aspect as well as the indecisiveness was journaling. So don't be afraid to write things out. Don't be afraid to just process through paper and writing, as well as breath work. They were very big on, again, leaning into the element of air and using your breath to really help you center and ground the emotions that you're feeling.
Absolutely. That's going to be paramount. All right, here we go.
Libra.
Libras, touch the sky.
Ooh.
Okay, I think Libras are going to do okay.
Yes.
So, again, we've got a beautiful young girl who is above the sky. She's got a little birdie on her shoulder. This little birdie is telling her, it's time to take a little time. I can feel it. You know, there's a little bit of I would say, over planning, over spreading yourself too thin, over booking yourself. Oh, and 7 of Swords. So that's going to be a hard time standing your ground. And 7 of Cups.
Double 7.
Which is, you know.
Two different extremes. Two different extremes.
Yeah, so also, like, isn't it funny that we got a couple of doubles here with our,
Yep.
our air signs are going to have an interesting January as well. Excuse me, but in a very different way than the earth signs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, oh man, I feel like you're fighting your battles and other people's. Your head's not in it. And you got to get above the crowd. You've got choices. And I don't think you're choosing yourself as often as you should. I think this month really should be about you choosing yourself here.
Well, that's why I think I got in the channeling, and this one I think I got told not to mention initially until this moment. I got shown geraniums, which I had to look up the medicinal meaning for geraniums, and apparently that's the medicine for self-love.
Yeah, this is what this is about.
Yeah.
You know, for what I see is there's ingratitude towards some of the stuff that you've spread yourself too thin on.
Yep.
And it's only going to come back to you. You know, you don't want to hear, but I didn't ask you to do that. Because you did it because you love them. And you did it because you thought you should. Take a step back, take a big breath, look at your choices, and every choice you make in the month of January, make it about, is this something that puts me above the clouds, above the fray, above the drama, or is this going to lead me down a path where I'm going to hear in the end somehow that I inserted myself where I shouldn't.
Right.
That's what I feel is going to happen as far as my little lovely air signs go.
I agree.
On to the next. Aries! Leo! Sag! Everybody knows those fire signs, the sexy, sexy fire signs. Everybody knows it.
Usually we have to make sure we're known.
Alright, so we're going to start with Aries. Aries says, the alchemical artist. That means Aries will be creating this month. But in a way that's got soul. Which actually worked for my channeling, which says connect to your spiritual beliefs. And it says reaffirm the thinking that brings you joy and readjust anything that feels that it's no longer feasible to you. I think this idea of alchemical art is about creating, but you're going to be creating artistically. There's going to be more to it. There's going to be, I wouldn't say soul searching, as much as without the search, you're going to be seeing these pops of spiritual and soulful things happening around you more and more. Yeah. That's really how it feels. So we have the Eight of Swords, which means you're going to have to see your, and the Ten of Cups upside down in reverse. Okay, this actually works. And I'll tell you why it works. Because we have up here, you creating and using an artistry in which to create. So doing it with soul, direction, and something that is, I'm afraid to say it, Aries, beyond money and material things. And we know how much you like shiny objects. But it's not bringing you happy. If it was, your Ten of Cups would be upside down.
Right side up, you mean?
Right side up.
It's upside down.
It's upside down. It's not bringing you the happy. It's not bringing, you are going to only see, you have been maybe on a one-way ride to amass something. Maybe a goal that was very specific, but it was material. And for whatever reasons, we all go through that. There's nothing wrong with it. We all work and save for certain things. So this is judgment free. But you've been myopic. You have been shutting your eyes to something spiritual, something that you can create, something that is deeper.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go deeper. You can. But it's time. Because you're going to start feeling unsatisfied. Imagine that. You imagine the baby bosses out there feeling unsatisfied. That's not going to last too long. And you can't buy your way out of this one. That's going to be an interesting year. To start off this way means you're going to have a pretty interesting year. And I like it because it's going to shuffle up your deck, so to speak.
Your usual route.
Yeah.
You're taking a detour this year.
That's what I'm saying. All right, on to the next. Leo.
Yeah.
Your lighthouse guides you home to the stars.
I like
we
that.
love that. We are more than what we've got going on here on Earth. We are stardust through and through, and the landscape is larger than the one that we see quite often. So I like that, my Leos, because you seem to need that. Leo, you've got the Hanged Man in reverse and the Eight of Cups. Hanged Man in reverse, no more waiting. Whether you see it or not, it's time to move.
Surrender.
And the Eight of Cups is you're ready to walk away from something that is not serving you, from something that's making you feel empty, to something that's going to make you feel warm and fuzzy. But there's work involved here. There's a journey. You're not there. There's a lighthouse that's calling you. There's a beacon. Your lighthouse, something yours, is guiding you where you need to go. Are you following it? I don't think you have been. 2024, you wanted to start, and for you, I got begin as you intend to finish. before we pulled this is the channel. It said set yourself attainable goals in the short term and hold yourself accountable for seeing them through. 2024 will be different because you are going to be different. I'm not sure how your 2023 went. I can guarantee you at this point, going through the holidays to now, you're probably like, all right, blinders on and just getting through. But it's time. January starts your time. It's time to move past that. Anything specific for Leo when you were channeling?
Just that, pretty much, again, mine is overarching, but I'd say specifically for Leo, given the cards that we got, that this is a time of self-reflection and self-rehabilitation. Like, this is really a time of surrender, like the reversed hangman, but also time to take stock of what is serving you, what's not, letting things go that are not serving you, trying to bring in things that obviously make you feel good and make you feel more whole and balanced and more together. I had joked with Judy earlier saying, like, you know, for fire they were talking about spa trips, and I was like, I'm down, I'm going to do a spa trip because I'm a Sagittarius. But it's really more about the retreat. It's really more about taking stock of what you have, what you don't have, what is working, what is not.
I'm
and
really
aligning it better.
Yeah, and for you specifically, it's yourself.
Yeah.
It's on you.
It's all the personal work. It's not about external stuff.
Yeah. Nothing is external is going to be as detrimental to you as your own inaction. That's the truth in that one. We are moving into Sag. You ready, Saggy?
Ready.
It says, the phoenix rises into joyful abundance.
Yay. I need that.
She did not stack the deck. I did the deck.
I didn't touch that one.
I love that. Oh my goodness, and there's the flames and everything else. And we have the Page of Pentacles upside down, and then the Four of Wands.
Ooh.
Alright. Oh, I'm going to, because she's sitting next to me, but I'm going to go for it.
Do it.
Don't try to control this one. Don't try to think about it. Don't overthink it. Allow the joy. Allow it. You know, there's if you can not worry about what was said and how it was said, because Sagittarius don't hear just what you said. Almost every Sag hears what you meant.
They hear the energy behind it too.
So be careful with Sagittarius. They got a little something going on in that arena.
They have a BS radar, in case you didn't know. We know if you mean it or not.
So, you know, but there's an opportunity if you allow. I think it's going to be in the allowing.
Yeah.
You know, get your head out of the material. Sometimes that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Getting your head out of the material things.
Yeah.
And putting them into that esoteric thing, which I think is, to me, an overall for the fire signs going into 2024.
Yeah.
It's not the material.
No, it's not.
The opposite. It's about, for Aries, letting in the spiritual and attaching yourself to your higher power and letting that kind of guide your next steps. For the Leos, it feels like it's going internally, looking for your inner power and guiding yourself forward through your knowing of what's inside of you initially this year. And then for the Sag, it almost feels like the allowing.
Yeah.
The allowing of joy, the allowing of the experience, the allowing of the other people to contribute to what your successes would be. And that's, you know, I think fire signs, if this is how it looks going forward, I think they're going to have a year, not that abundance is, or financial abundance is not within this, but it's not going to be the priority of
Right.
2024. Because there's nothing that indicates destitute.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So don't have that fear.
Mm-hmm.
But allow yourself to have the emotional responses and the emotional dive that this is going to require.
Yeah, the main overarching thing I got in my channeling was retreat. And it doesn't mean retreat like to retreat from a fight or anything of that nature. It's literally more like what all these cards are saying, which is to go within yourself and really taking stock of what's working, what's not. The medicines that they want and the practices they want me to mention for the fire signs, which I know I'm going to be utilizing, is any candle work. If you feel like you're being too much surrounded in dark, like really using candles to sort of help bring that joy into your life and to add a little bit more of that element.
Yeah, it's also your element. Work with it.
As well as pine, which I know we're just coming out of Christmas and stuff like that, so you might be sick of pine by this point in January.
Save a little pine.
But save a little bit. It's one of those things that'll be good for just helping clear things out, as well as if, just perchance, if anyone gets sick during January, it's always good to use a little bit of pine tea to help with that. Yeah. So pine would be another good medicine for fire signs to have going into January.
I think Sag is, it's going to be a little bit of wading through,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what I had gotten before,
Mm-hmm.
but it said outdated pressures.
Mm-hmm.
This is about knowing when to let something go.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Really knowing that it's not helping you, and it might be blocking you from something better.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, Sag is also always on the hunt for something. They
Yes.
really are, and it's funny because they find their things, but you know, I always say if you're looking for something, you're gonna find it.
Yes.
So I think maybe this is their time to allow, which is kind of cool. I think fire signs are in a good stead for 2024.
Yes.
I actually see 2024 being a nice year for everyone altogether.
Agreed.
But you know, everybody's got their work to do, so we're gonna all get on it. But there you go, flamies. We have been going through the elements. You're last. Even in our channeling, we had some interesting stuff for you. It was really exciting, and you got some work to do. 2024 is opening up for our one sign. You know, you're an emotional group. I'm gonna put that out there. So we expected, you know, to hit the emotions hard when we got to you, but we were not disappointed if that is the case.
Okay, I want these.
Yeah, we've had beautiful so far. So we're gonna open up with Pisces.
Yep.
Pisces. A message I got immediately when we started channeling was about physical health. So I want you to be extremely cautious in January. Slippage on the ice, driving too fast, just even rushing around. Be careful. Take a pause, a few spiritual baths. You know, this is, you know, go skiing in February is what I'm saying. Let's see what we got. It said, seek hidden treasure.
Ooh.
I like that. I like seek hidden treasure. And then we got the 9 of Cups and the 4 of Cups.
Ooh.
So this is kind of interesting. Seek hidden treasure is always, to me, is a little self-explanatory. You want to go deeper. Look for that nugget of gold in every circumstance. And I think it's there. I think maybe we just overlook it. Also, man, the 9 of Cups is a great place to be. It means you're a self-sufficient, emotionally, you know, 9 of Cups for Pisces, you're emotionally intelligent. That's a lot. I'm saying a lot. Because we got water signs here. We usually get a lot of emotional intelligence in earth and fire. Water, it means you've done some really good soul searching. And you've put yourself in a place where your maturity level is, you know, understanding. I don't know if you're seeing it. I don't know if you're seeing the work you've done, because with the Four of Cups coming next means there's something you're missing.
Yeah.
And
Something's just right off the edge.
Right. And it's telling you to seek it.
Yeah.
So we know something's missing. It's not really missing, it's just out of sight.
Right.
And out of sight doesn't always mean out of mind, but sometimes it does. And I think maybe you just got to go a little deeper. But actually, you're in a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
Because what you need is there. You just got to find it. You just, look around.
And just make sure you take the action. That's like the one thing my guides want to add to that. Because that's the one thing I see with both these cards, which when you see the photo that we'll put on the screen.
In action.
They're both showing in action with both the squirrel and the raccoon just sort of like taking a nap at the moment. And they're both in the tree just enjoying life, which is good. You do want to do that, but especially since the first card, the main card was Seek Hidden Treasure, that again shows me we need to take action. So definitely don't be resting on your laurels in January. Definitely make sure you are looking for the hidden treasure.
Yeah, look for the nugget of gold in everything that's coming towards you. Because even if it looks like a negative, I guarantee you it is a positive for you.
Right.
I don't think you could get better.
Nope.
Next, our beautiful Cancers. It's saying be patient. Cancer, I got emotions that need to be addressed. Be patient. That's telling us the exact emotion that needs to be addressed.
Right.
And then it says self-promote. Do not undersell yourself. You're waiting for someone to see your worth. Generally, as a human being, my advice or attitude would not be patient in that moment.
Yeah.
However, there's a reason it's asking us to. Okay? Oh. Because you're beating yourself up over feeling bad over something that made you feel bad that was bad. It's okay. Be patient with yourself. You're not supposed to get over it just so fast.
It might take time.
It's going to take time.
Yeah.
So this is making a lot more sense because the person who's putting pressure on you is you. Sometimes it takes 2 times to take the test to pass it. Sometimes it doesn't take, a month after you've lost something that was important to you to stop crying in the morning. Don't worry about it. Be patient. Something changed. Something big. And it left you feeling battled and beleaguered. It's okay to have that feeling. You still have to get up every day. You still have to function. It's no excuse for stopping. But be patient with yourself. And give yourself extra time. I think January will be a nice month for you to take that restock of your personal self-care and self-love.
Yeah.
The cards are very clearly, you've been through something that changed. It changed you. It changed physically. If somebody didn't pass. If someone passed, I'm sorry for your loss. And again, it takes time.
And if you're having trouble, with the self-love aspect of things and giving yourself that patience, the stone that was shown to me for all of water signs was lepidolite. So if you really resonate with lepidolite, or you want to take a look of it online, or if you have a lepidolite jewelry, that would be something I would wear or have around you in the month of January.
What color is it?
Purple.
Even if you start putting a little purple on, gentlemen, if it's a guy out there, throw on purple sweatpants, a purple sweatshirt, what have you.
Purple hat.
Yeah. Become a Vikings fan. But yeah, whatever it is, sorry that it's okay to feel bad when a bad thing happens. Give yourself a little time. It's coming. It's coming around.
Yeah.
Last but not least, we have our Scorpios. It says, reflect on your truth.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Scorpios. It says, self-reflect. If I didn't write like a serial killer, I'd show you. It says self-reflect, and it says, without self-pity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's time to really take Scorpios. Your emotional travels this month will be about seeing yourself in a clearer light. That's where you're at with this. Oof. And we've got 9 of Swords and 6 of Pentacles. This is an interesting 9 of Swords.
Mm-hmm.
So where you have been battled and I don't want to say,
Mm-hmm.
betrayed.
Yeah. Had your hurdles.
There, but
and your wounds.
so I have to show the card. So the card clearly states to me, you laid in that nest and you let the swords go in.
Mm-hmm.
Where have you contributed to that?
Mm-hmm. What hand did you have in that?
Where is your responsibility for not lying there and helping almost create that nonsense?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Because on the other side of that, when you really settle in with your truth,
Mm-hmm.
and you accept your responsibility, your portion of it, you got a 6 of Pentacles.
Mm-hmm.
This is your people. This is your
Mm-hmm.
tribe. This is your truth.
Your community.
Your community will rally to that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't look at it strong and hard, boy, you're not going to have that. And you definitely contributed to your own issues. I don't know how long, whatever has been going on, and a lot of times extricating yourself from situations that, have gotten out of hand requires a little bit extra.
Mm-hmm.
Inside of you, you have all of the tools and power you need to get out of this situation and find your people. And in fact, that is the one thing that will bring you to the tribe you need.
Mm-hmm.
I would say counseling. That almost smells like counseling.
Mm-hmm. A little bit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like group.
Mm-hmm.
Sit in a group. Hi, my name is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not generally a fuck up, but sometimes it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
In a beautiful way.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have to keep battling that battle anymore. That's not something that needs to, you're not required to keep.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of love that, and I know protection and was part of your.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I definitely got protection for water signs in general, as well as snakeskin.
Ooh.
So in any tradition, but also in the shamanic tradition, when you get the essence of snakes, usually it is a healing medicine. It's about really seeing where your boundaries are and where you might have to shed something or release something in order for more growth to occur. So I definitely feel that for the Scorpios for sure. But I could see that for all the water signs in this month of January. Is like, just be okay with taking stock and feeling those boundaries a little bit and knowing what you might need to release so that new growth and new beginnings can come for you.
Yeah. Don't be afraid of change.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace it. In this case, especially for all of you, embrace that change, because I think it's going to bring you the peace that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of positivity here if you just allow what is to be, accept what is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can move forward in whatever direction you choose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hoping all of you kind of step up to the reflection, the patience, and that seeking of those hidden treasures, because I think water signs can have a miraculous year, maybe even a lot of self-growth in this year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If this is the way it begins,
Mm-hmm.
this looks like a very big self-growth year for water signs.
It's a great start. It's literally the planting of the seeds for the year.
I can't wait to see where this one takes us.
Same.
Thank you, water babies.